To get my box braids all the same size, I use a method that I like to call the rule of three. Whenever you're working with 3-stranded braids, you need 3 equal legs. So I like to prep the hair based on the size of each leg. You can do this by picking off the amount of hair you want for each braid and splitting it into 3, or just simply prep out hair that's equal to each other. To start the box braid, I'm going to do the hook over method. So I'm going to grab 2 strands and put them together. Each side is going to represent 1 leg. Then I'm going to grab the 3rd strand and hook it around the other 2. So now each of those legs have 2 strands each. If you would like more details about the rule of 3, I have a full detailed tutorial on my YouTube channel. Now I'm going to show you how to install the box braid 3 different ways, because the density of the hair is going to determine how you install it. This section of the client's head is their perimeter. The perimeter is typically lower in density. That's why it's easy for me to gather it all into one piece, as you can see here. For this install method, I'm going to gather that one piece, link it to one of the legs, and begin braiding. For those of you who don't know what's going on, these are traditional box braids with the knot. These are not knotless braids. Because the hair is lower in density here, it's easy for me to begin braiding and just tuck it underneath the braiding hair. This method is beginner friendly. I feel like it has less tension on the client's head as well. And if you struggle with grip, it's easy to do this on yourself. This method may work for low density areas, but may not always work for all hair types. For example, if your hair is too short, or if it's really fine or really straight, it will not hold the braid for long. The second method is for really thick hair, high density areas, but also works really well for very fine, very straight hair, because these braids aren't going anywhere. We're essentially going to start the braid off almost like a cornrow. So what I did here was I split that one section into 3 equal parts, one top section and 2 bottom sections. We're basically going to add a leg to each section when we begin braiding. I start by adding the top section to a leg. Then as I move along, I'm going to grab that left section to the next leg, and then I'm going to grab the right section to the last leg and continue braiding. This method evenly distributes all of the hair to each leg. That way you don't have to struggle with trying to tuck the natural hair under the braiding hair. The extra security at the base keeps the braid from slipping out. The only downside is range of motion at the base of the braid. The client will have to wait until their hair grows out a little bit for it to loosen before you can turn it every which way. That's why I reserve this method for the middle of the head and not the perimeter. The last method works really well for super thick, high density hair. If the hair is too thick, sometimes I will have to rubber band the section down. We're going to start this install just like we did in method 1 by gathering the entire section into one leg. However, this time, instead of continuing to braid, I'm going to split the natural hair after each rotation until I have equal sections. Depending on the density of the section, sometimes I only have to do this once, but if it's super thick, I definitely have to split it at least 3 times to make sure all legs are equal. Just like method number 1, the added bonus is range of motion. Now here's what I want you to take note. I never not once changed the size of the pieces that I was using. I stuck with the rule of 3 in the pieces that I had already prepped out. And you see how all of the braids are the same size. That's because as a professional braider, we understand that we have to change our method with the size and density and area of the head in order for you to have a uniform look. Traditional box braids require more braiding hair to be used, so you don't want to crowd a whole lot of hair into one space. You want to evenly distribute it. As always, if you learned something new, make sure you like this video and share it with a friend. Drop your questions in the comments, and I'll catch you in the next one.